like to call to order the Board of Adjustment meeting for March 7th, 2024. Brandy, could I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Ford.
Here.
Dargis Johnson.
Here.
Brink.
Here.
Voletsky. Here. Case.
Here.
And we, Ford, nope, sorry. Dolly, Hanson, and Spire are absent. We have a quorum. And we have 5 members, so for the variance request that is on the agenda, we will need all 5 for a approval.
Thank you. Third item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Could I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Fourth item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the February 22nd meeting. Can I get a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Ford seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Fifth item on the agenda is our regular agenda. 5A is board consideration of a variance request at 214 First Street Southwest. Brandy, will you walk us through that, please?
Yes, thank you, Jeff. So let me get this pulled up here on the screen so we can see it on GIS. But this is a variance request for an existing detached garage or accessory structure at 214 First Street Southwest. And the applicant is proposing to include an addition to this existing structure. So the existing structure is 20 feet by 16 feet. And it was permitted to be, to have a 6-foot setback. So with the addition that's proposed, the applicant would like to still utilize the 6-foot setback. And then also we'll be making the garage a little bit larger. The proposed addition will be, let's see, 28 by 24. So 28 in length by 24 in width. Today it's 20 foot in width. So I'm just wanting to run that setback the same as the existing structure. This property is zoned R2A, single family attached residential district, which usually the side yards are allowed to be 6 feet. However, this property, when they're 75 feet or above, then they have to adhere to the 9-foot side yard setback in today's regulations. This property is exactly 75 feet in width. So that is why the 9-foot side yard setback is required. With that, I'll stand by for any questions. I'll show you guys here quickly on the agenda too, just to give you a better idea of the proposed addition, the existing garage. You can see there with the 28 by 24. He will have the garage door access to the alley where he has sufficient space there for a driveway. And this is the original building permit that allowed for that 6-foot setback. That was in 1971. So now with that, I'll stand by for any questions.
Thank you,
Chair.
Brandy. Go ahead.
Brandy, have we received any comments from the neighbors, especially, it looks like, is that to the south?
No.
And if we were to take a look at the proposed addition in relationship, how close is it to the garages on the property line to the?
Okay,
How
so
close-
when
how
it
close would those
goes,
structures be?
yeah. So when this is expanded 28 feet, there will be a 10-foot separation.
Okay.
Brandy, could you walk us through the side yard setback rules a little bit more? So if it's 75 feet or wider width, it's 9 feet, and if it's less than 75, it's 10% of the width, but no less than 6.
Yep,
So if it was 1 foot narrower, the side yard setback would be 7.4 feet, because it would be 74-foot width lot.
yep,
Okay. So it's kind of a unique zone that has differing side yard setbacks.
Brandy, do we have any, sorry, Chair. Brandy, do we have any reason why back in 71 they were given that?
Not that I can recall, and that was
Predates a lot of the zoning regulations, and more than likely, it probably would have been a 6-foot setback at the time. Most lots in that part of the town are either 50 feet or less when they were originally platted. And that's just probably one of the few oversized lots in that part of town. Actually, those could have been originally 25-foot lots, for all I know.
It was originally 50.
50, and then they added 25 from another lot next to it. Yeah.
Brandy, does the property just south of that have a variance for their garage? It looks really close to that yellow line. Did you guys look into that at all?
I did not, but I sure can right now.
Well, and you don't have to do that. I mean, it appears to me that the neighbor built closer to their property line, and that's the neighbor that this one would be infringing on, so, and if they had no complaints, as Kays had previously mentioned.
And I believe the applicant has spoke with his neighbor too, the applicant is here, so.
Mr. Chair, as far as fire department, no issues being 10 feet separation. I mean, that's the minimum that we would like to see on those properties, correct?
I see Adam nodding his head yes, so for those who can't see in the camera, our fire marshal is nodding his head yes to that
Thank you.
question. Seeing no more questions from the board right now, I will open the public hearing. If there is anyone that wishes to speak on behalf or against this item, feel free to approach the mic and state your name for the record. Or if the board has any questions for the applicant is here.
I just had a question for the applicant, and he already told me what the answer was. Because the driveway is right there by there's them utility pole and utilities, and he said, no, he said they won't have to move them for the driveway. I went, good. Ask the applicant again. Okay, when I drove by your property today, I went through the alley and I seen there's them utility boxes and a pole. Will you have to move them for your driveway?
State your name first.
Hi, I'm Gabe Judding, the resident of the place applying for the variance. I didn't measure it out, but it's gotta be close to 20+ feet from the property line to the service, or it's just a outdoor light, you know? And then cable box there. There's a bush in between that. I mean, all I planned on doing was just putting, you know, maybe an 8-foot, 10-foot gravel there, and then as I came farther out into my yard, I would expand it out so that I don't have to deal with any of the existing stuff there already.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for the applicant? Or anything else you would like to add while you're at the podium
No, I'm good.
Well, hearing none, I will close the public hearing and ask for a motion and a second for discussion.
I'll make the motion to approve the applicant's.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I would just like to point out, this is kind of one of those inline provisions where, I mean, the existing property has that variance already, so adding on to the structure doesn't increase the variance, so that's my findings on why I could support this.
Mr. Chair, I could also support it just from the fact that the structures on the adjoining properties are still going to be fire code compliant. And again, this is an oddball lot in the R2A district. Most of them are going to be, and we were comfortable generally with a much more cramped space at 6 feet with more structures and occupying more lot area. So I don't find no harm, no foul in this situation.
Mr.
Sorry, Chair, go ahead, Diana.
Diana, go ahead.
Brandy, what are the requirements for a driveway for this new building?
So he will be, obviously, there's the driveway that goes out to First Street, but when he enters the alley, because he has the 30 feet, he could have a maximum width of 36 feet. But I think that, as he stated, he's going to be making that more narrow and then widening it out as he goes to the double stall garage.
And what kind of material?
Concrete, typically. I mean, they could do asphalt, pavement.
He mentioned gravel, so is this gravel or concrete or asphalt, or what is it?
It's required to be hard surfaced.
So it has to be either concrete or asphalt.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And that, all of those things too, we'd make sure we're specific in the building permit. And on the site plan, you know, that he's submitting and whatnot, if he proceeds in that way.
Chair. I guess, where's the hardship when we have 75 feet of yard to just, I mean, he could just move it over and stay within the 9 feet setback. You know, it could still hook to the other garage. So what's the advantage of not just leaving it as a 9 foot? I mean, so I'm asking, what is the hardship?
I'm not considering a hardship, I'm considering past actions of the city by allowing it to be constructed 6 foot off the lot line previously. Our predecessors must have thought it was fine then. I don't see any change in that. And again, I still come from a belief that inline extensions on properties that have already been granted permits by the city of Watertown, as long as it doesn't infringe on the neighbors, is not a bad thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point I tried to make as well, is, you know, that it's already there. Is there a hardship of moving it over? Maybe not, maybe, but even if he moves the addition over, there's still a 6 foot variance on his property.
Chair?
Go ahead, Diana.
So I see that point, certainly. However, I think as a board, we're required to state what the hardship is if we approve this. So what would we say the hardship is?
Well, I think our job is to state our findings, and, you know, both me and Todd did state, you know, our reasonings on how we could support this. Those are our findings. You know, and others may have different findings or reasons too. I think that's the intent of what we're trying to justify. We do have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Sorry to interrupt, but I thought that the applicant asked if he could say something further.
Sure, I'll allow it. Please approach the mic and state your name for the record.
Hi, Gabe Judding again. I guess, like you had, a couple of you had said, you know, I already have an existing structure there, so no harm, no foul. I mean, I already have one that's at 6 feet. If I have to offset it 3 feet, I mean, that will look very bad. I mean, would you like it if you came up to your garage, or if you came to buy a property and they were offset like that? I mean, it's going to be very aesthetically not pleasing. I mean, they'd be like, well, why would somebody possibly do that? I mean, I guess that's, and also, I mean, I already have a building there that's already adhered to one variance. I get it that they've changed, but I already have one there that is to a 6 foot. I just don't see what the why it would matter, I guess. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. We have a motion, we have a second, we've had good discussion. Is there any additional discussion?
I think the roof lines don't match, I mean, when you pull up to it anyway. So, I mean, you're gonna just have a different, it's just gonna be jogged over. I mean, from your, I don't know where the looks of it is gonna be affected by that, but I guess my biggest problem is again, the hardship, and I understand that we gave it to them before, but that, again, like you, to your point, Todd, perhaps we didn't have setback ordinances. So we do now, and we're in the R2A where we're already forgiving, and we've ran into this for the past where we've had plenty of build space, and then we've turned down others that wanted to do that same thing, and we've shot it down, and I guess
I haven't.
Lee?
I haven't. I will state that I haven't.
Well, I know that we had one just last summer that also failed because of there was room on the lot to build. They wanted to do an addition, so.
I would say that if this was a virgin piece of ground and there wasn't an existing structure, that the city had issued a building permit before previously, which gave some sort of indication that that was satisfactory, and nothing has substantively changed in the 50 years since that building permit was issued, other than we've changed to an R2A district and we put in a multiplier. And if he was 1 inch less than 75, he'd be at 7.5 feet. And so we'd only be, then they're talking about a 1.5 foot difference then. And a 1.5 foot over 75 feet to me is not substantive enough to deny somebody who wants to make an improvement, add tax base to the community. That's just me.
And throw the hardship to the side.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Brandy, I think we're ready for a roll call vote.
All right. Brink,
Yes.
Oletzky,
Yes.
Ford,
No,
Kays,
Yes.
Dargis Johnson.
No.
With a vote, 3 yeses and 2 nos, we do not have the minimum 2/3 of a quorum. The motion fails. Item 6 on the agenda is open public comment. Is there any other topics?
No?
Seeing none. Item 7 is new business. Any new business?
Yes, if you see here, we have Carla Hoyer joining us because she is our new planner. So she became effective in that position on March 1st. So excited to have her in this role. And so, yes, we'll be seeing her at our meetings.
Welcome to the team. All right, that is good news. Any old business?
No.
Could
is there anything going on with the commercial lake district? Or is that just kind of put on the back burner for now?
I'm gonna let our mayor step up to the mic and speak on behalf of that.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I apologize for not sending this to you directly, but prior to your regularly scheduled meeting on the 21st of this month, we are going to be having a joint meeting between the Plan Commission and the City Council. And that is an effort to basically let everyone state what their desire is moving forward and do it officially, because there's been a lot of playing of the game of telephone and a lot of disjointed communication. And there's been some question as far as the communication goes. So what I decided to do was get everyone in the same room, and we can all go on record as far as what we want to see going forward with the CL zoning, and if the desire from either body is to look into it more, I would like to know what and how they want to look into it more. If that is forming a committee to deep dive, is that just forming a committee to bring forward proposed amendments? That is going to be up to either body. So we will meet together, but we will vote separately because I want you, as the Plan Commission, to make up your own mind as far as what you think, and I don't want it to be colored by, you know, the city council. So we can make up our own minds as far as if we want it, and I would encourage you to do the likewise because you deal with it every time. I mean, you deal with it on a regular basis, and as do we, but I think the desire is to find some clarity, but as to how that process is going to look, that's the question.
That's on March 21st?
Yes.
Thank you. What time are you talking?
It'll be prior to your regularly scheduled meeting, so it'll be an hour before, so I think we're scheduling it for 3. And I purposely also did that at that time because I wanted it to be a time when you would already be meeting. And I don't know, I just know from the city council aspect, we've had 3 work sessions on it, and every work session in regarding discussion of CL has lasted well over 2 hours. And I will say, we've talked about it a lot. It's time for us to officially say where we want this to move.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Mayor, so you're not really seeing this as a forum to discuss possible changes, it's just more or less whether or not we as individuals or as a proposed group would want to delve into opening up the book again.
Correct. And I will say, simply because, I will just say, on the council, there are some people who express some desire and some who do not. And depending upon who you talk to on what day, you get a different answer. And I will say, I've talked to several members of the Plan Commission. As you know, I emailed each of you separately to ask what your opinion was. And I know what I heard from each of you independently, but there are others involved in the CL zoning looking into it that tell a completely different story than the one I have received. So this is my desire to basically, let's get everyone in the same room so we don't play this game of telephone and we can put everyone, and it's not a bad putting people on the record. This is just an opportunity for people to say, once and for all, this is my desire for CL. Like for me, I get some people thinking that I'm against CL. I'm not. I just want to see an ordinance that we can actually pass something with. And I also don't think that that needs to be, I don't think that needs to involve another 12 to 14 hours of discussion. So that's what I'm going to say at the meeting. And then I leave it up to the Plan Commission to make up your own mind, because I respect you as a body and as individuals, and the council will do likewise.
No, I really appreciate that update, and good question, Diana, because, yeah, that's, I think that will be a good thing to get a direction going, whether
Yes.
it's,
And I apologize, I did not alert you prior to this, but thank you very much.
Perfect that you were here.
yeah.
And it's funny, Diana wasn't even in the room to know that the mayor was here.
Nope,
Mr. Chair?
I have a long memory about things though, so I don't forget.
Brandy, I know this isn't the Planning Commission, but are we still looking on track this month as a mini boards to be talking about codification?
Potentially is what,
Recodification?
yeah,
Staff has been working on reviewing the zoning regulations, looking for some simple, quick fixes that need to be done to make things going forward. And we know we've been having, she mentioned it to us at the last meeting, that she was gonna be meeting with us.
for Title 21, we won't be able to because,
This is Ford. May I ask another question?
Absolutely.
well, do you guys want an answer?
Brandy, will this also be online? Because I will not be in town.
So,
The meet,
yes, so hold on, hold
Okay.
that thought. The mayor, you go ahead.
In regards to recodification, have you been in contact with our city attorney, Carrico?
No.
Okay. What I would like to do is if you would email me or email me and Lisa together We have been working on recodification on our own. I'm not sure if we'd get to the sections that you'd be talking about yet.
No, I guess where I'm at with the last meeting, Brandy said that she had been working on updates to the zoning section of the code, and that she wanted to set up meetings with us in smaller groups to have a review of what her work was before we go through the adoption process. And so I was just confirming.
Yes.
Are we looking at doing that in this month or next month?
Yeah, okay, so that, and I thought that I had explained that when I talked with Attorney Carrico, that we will not be doing the small group meetings anymore. We will just bring the proposed, well, we'll bring the recodification of Title 21. We'll bring that as a presentation, but we will not be able to have that on March 21st because then that's 2 weeks away. And so staff, working with the Public Works Director, and then we also need to still get with Attorney Carrico and make sure, just vet anything out before we bring it forward. So it will most likely be April. It will not be in March.
So we're looking at a presentation of the information, discussion, input from us back to staff, then coming back with a finished product.
I believe so, and this is where it's completely, Attorney Carrico is the spearhead of the recodification process. So it all, and like the mayor referenced, it's all going to be in line with what the schedule is for all of the titles of the ordinance. So, but the initial hope was that we would have the updated, for Title 21, that we would have that updated prior to, the heart of construction season, which we're already kind of pushing that. So, we'll just see where all the time.
My suggestion and my recommendation would be, though, that we don't just have it dumped in front of us on a night for an hour discussion, and then, because I will probably vote no on that, just because we need to digest it and have an opportunity to see that before you're talking about major revisions to the code.
Yes, yep. And that is where, once we have a final document or just a proposed amendment internally with staff, then we would look to even just send that out to the Plan Commission, and then we would have the presentation without any action that night, and then have it at a following meeting for an actual ordinance amendment proposal. But we will, once we have it just vetted out internally, then we'll get it to you guys.
Thank you very much.
And in regards to Mrs. Ford's question, I can work with our IT to get it online because I want as full of participation as we can get. And also I should add one more thing, it's going to be at the police station public room. That way we can all be in the same room looking at each other.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it was good. A lot of old business. Any other old business? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.